Hey there, trans lady here to share with you 10 reasons why I am so grateful to be transgender. Now, to be clear, I did not always feel this way. I did not always want to be transgender. In fact, when I first realized that I might be trans, the first thing I did was I Googled, how do I not be transgender? I think I'm trans, but I don't want to be trans. And I was so scared and I was so resentful of it. And even after I accepted that I am transgender, um, I wished that I weren't. I just wanted to be normal. And well, it's been a couple of years since I've been out of the closet on hormones and had surgery and all of that. And, the more I've thought about it, the more I realize being trans is like a superpower. And that's reason number one. I'm grateful to be transgender is it feels like a superpower, you know? Like literally, I'm a transformer, you know? I completely changed my body with hormones and with surgery. Like everything, my hair is different, my skin is different, even the smell of my body is different. The cats noticed before anybody else noticed. So, yeah, l'chaim to that. That's the first reason why I'm grateful. It feels like a superpower. Reason number two, why I have come to be grateful to be transgender, even though I wasn't always grateful, I am now. Think about the perspective. I know what it's like from firsthand experience. I know what it's like to be on both sides of the door, so to speak. I know what it's like to go through life being seen as a man, and I know what it's like to go through life being seen as a woman. I know what it's like to be a man in misogynist spaces. I know what it's like to be a woman in misogynist spaces. How many people can say that? And this is one of the reasons why I think that rather than excluding trans women, which some feminists want to do, I think that trans women are essential in feminist discourse because, as I said, we know what it's like on both sides of the door, and that's pretty amazing. Reason number three why I am grateful to be transgender. Being transgender has given me the opportunity to understand my gender in ways that most cisgender people just don't even think about. You know, a lot of my cis friends, when asked about their gender, it's like, gender, who cares about gender? What difference does it make? But for me, because I spent over 30 years of my life being gaslit into thinking that I'm a man on every layer of society, all of my school records, my government records, my hospital records, every time I got a credit card or every time I traveled and I had a passport, it always said I was a man, right? And my womanhood was always denied to me. And when you don't have something that you really, really need to have, in this case, recognition of your actual gender, you notice it a lot. And I have done so much introspection and I understand my gender, and my gender means so much to me. Whereas if I had just been born as a woman because I'm a woman, well, maybe I wouldn't have that appreciation and understanding. All right, so three reasons. It feels like a superpower. It gives me insight into issues of gender, misogyny, because of being on both sides of the door. It gives me insight into gender and makes me appreciate my gender a lot more. A fourth reason why I am grateful to be transgender is because of the transgender community. Transgender people are such deep thinkers. We grapple with everything in life. And the interesting thing is that when I realized that I'm transgender, when I realized that society got something as basic as my gender wrong, all of these years, for decades, what else did society get wrong? And so I started to question everything. And so this is I think one of the main reasons why there are so many trans people who are anti-capitalists, or who are uh, you know, who are anti-police, or who are anti all these things, or who, are anti-monogamy. A lot of trans people are polygamists. I have never met, well, I was going to say I've never met so many witches as I have since I became trans. I never met any witches before. Now I know lots of witches. Not, like the stereotypes, but there are a lot of trans people who are witches, and there are trans people who are vampires. Yes, and there are trans people who have opened my mind to so many identities that never would have even occurred to me as possibilities. But the amazing thing is that because we question everything now, we understand things so much deeper, and it's just broadened my mind so much, and it's amazing. So that's a fourth reason why. Oh, and I should say that there are very legitimate political and social reasons for a lot of these things. I don't mean to suggest that, being anti-capitalist, or being anti-police, or being anti-monogamy, or any of these things, that this is simply, a reactionary gut reaction that we trans people have. But I do think that being trans has really opened me and other trans people up to really question things that maybe we wouldn't have questioned before. All right, so that's a fourth reason why I am grateful to be transgender. A fifth reason I'm grateful to be transgender. Look at my hair. Okay, so I was always like a goody two shoes my whole life. I never thought I would ever color my hair. I love colors. Colors are amazing. Look at my clothing. I love colors. But I never felt that I could when I was living as a man. I thought that was very feminine. And not only do I wear super colorful clothing now, in the last 6 months, I've had green hair, purple hair, blue hair, pink hair, red hair, yellow hair, turquoise hair. It's just so much fun, because you know why? Because I realized that my whole life I was just following what everybody else expected me to do, or what I thought people expected me to do. I was really like, I was a nice Jewish boy. That's what I was. And now I feel like I'm free to explore myself in all ways that I want to. So if I want to have green hair, I'm going to have green hair. If I want to have pink hair, I had pink hair, I had blue hair, I had purple hair, because it's just so much fun. And also, it's really meaningful for me too. My green hair is very significant to me, but that is another story. Okay, so first 5 reasons I'm grateful to be transgender. Number 1, it's a superpower. Number 2, because it gives me perspective of what it's like to live life on both sides of the door, being perceived as a man, being perceived as a woman. Number 3, because it gives me a deeper connection with gender and a deeper appreciation and understanding of gender. Reason number 4, I already forgot because I've been drinking my whiskey. Reason number 5, reason number 4 was because I question everything, and because trans people question everything. And so it's just broadened my horizons so much, being part of trans communities. And reason number 5, because it allows me to be myself in ways that I never allowed myself before, including with my hair and my clothing. I have nail polish in every color of the rainbow. It's amazing. All right, whiskey. I also have this water bottle. If you've ever heard of Shelpful, no, this is not a paid advertisement, but Shelpful is amazing. If you want to get stuff done, they will make sure that you get stuff done. They text you, and it's amazing. And they sent me a free water bottle. It says my Shelper made me do it. And I should probably drink some water. Okay, as you can tell, I get drunk very easily. Reason number 6 why I'm grateful to be transgender. Because being transgender has inspired me to learn more about the science of sex and gender, and it's really helped me to understand the science of sex and gender much more. I used to be so caught up in basic science. That's what everybody says. Basic science. Man, woman, penis, vagina, XY, XX. Well, yeah, that's basic science, the way that arithmetic is basic math. But the advanced science of sex and gender is way, way more complicated than that. And a lot of it I'm understanding has to be more complicated because of my lived experience. And as I've done more research, I mean, I've seen my body changing with hormones. I understand a lot more the way that hormones work now. I never knew anything about hormones before. And the surgical techniques, and I never really learned much about chromosomes aside from XX and XY. I had no idea what mosaic genes are, that some people have some cells with XX and some cells with XY. I had no idea that you could have XX chromosomes and be born with a fully functioning male reproductive system. I had no idea. I had no idea that you could be XY and have a female reproductive system. Seriously. So I'm grateful to be transgender because it's really helped me to open my eyes to the science, to the advanced science of sex and gender. Another reason why I'm grateful to be transgender is that it's an opportunity for me to be a role model. When I came, I'm not just trans, okay? I'm Jewish, but not only am I Jewish, I'm an Orthodox Jewish trans woman. Do you know how unusual that is? I mean, I have a lot of friends now who are Orthodox trans people like me. But when I was first starting out, I knew nobody. And when I first started to look for role models, the only role models that I really could find were either people who are Orthodox but then left Orthodoxy after they came out as trans, like Avi Stein, or people who just weren't Orthodox. And for me, that was great, but there were a lot of issues I was really struggling with. And I get to be that role model now for other Orthodox Jews who are struggling with their gender and who think they might be trans. I get to be that role model now. And it's so amazing because I wish I had a role model. And I had lots of role models, just not in this particular kind of way. So that is another reason why I'm grateful. I've lost track already. Is this 6 reasons or 7 reasons? I don't know. Anyway, let's just say it was 7 because I want to make spaghetti and meatballs for dinner. And the sooner I get to 10, the sooner I can make my spaghetti and meatballs. So let's say we're up to number 8. An 8th reason why I am so grateful to be transgender is because it makes my life so interesting. I mean, here I am. I'm actually starting to work on writing my memoir, which so many people have asked me to do. And it's like, I always used to think, oh, yeah, it'd be kind of cool if I had an interesting life and I could write an autobiography. But but my life is really interesting. I have seen some really cool things. I've undergone some really cool changes. I've also lived through a lot of shit. I've lived through a lot of misogyny, a lot of transphobia, a lot of anti-Semitism, and that's stuff to write about. I also was married to a rabbi. Turns out I'm probably the first person in history to come out as a transgender woman while married to a synagogue's rabbi, right? And so I was the rabbi's husband, and then I was the rabbi's wife, right? It's so interesting. There's so much to write about. So I'm really grateful that my life has become so interesting by virtue of my being trans. Another reason, I am so fucking confident now. Okay, and yes, I am fucking confident. When I was a kid, by the time I graduated high school, I could count on 2 hands the number of times I'd ever uttered a swear word in my entire life. Okay, by the time I finished middle school, I think it was just on 1 hand, if even that. I used to be so caught up in society's expectations of me. I just wanted to be a nice Jewish boy and follow all of the rules. And I was so shy and so insecure. And you know what? I am so fucking confident now. I believe in myself and I know myself and I love myself. And it is so amazing. Okay, reason number 9 why I'm grateful to be transgender. Because believe it or not, yes, trans people have a lot of internalized transphobia sometimes. I did not know very much about what it means to be transgender before I realized, oh my God, am I transgender? And it turns out that almost everything I knew about transgender people was wrong, right? Like I grew up on the myths, I didn't know. And so actually going through all of this myself has helped me to actually learn what does it mean to be transgender. And as it turns out, there isn't only one way to be transgender. There are many ways to be transgender. There are trans people who have this kind of hormones, trans people who have this other kind of hormones, trans people who don't have hormones. Well, we all have hormones, but like hormone therapy, right? There are trans people who need surgery. There are trans people who don't need surgery. There are trans people who need surgery but can't afford surgery. There are trans people, and this like blew my mind. There are trans women who are super butch, just as there are cis women who are super butch. And there are trans men who are super effeminate, just as there are cis men who are super effeminate, right? Like we're so diverse. And I didn't know any of this. And now I do because I'm living it. So, all right, 10th reason. This might be reason number 9. I don't know. But we're going to call it 10 because I want to make my spaghetti and meatballs. So, reason number 10, why I'm so grateful to be transgender, is because you know, I didn't want to say this because there are a lot of stereotypes of trans women as being fetishists and being sex crazed. And it's not about sex. It's not a fetish at all. Like, that has nothing to do with it. And also, can I tell you how incredible it is to experience life with both sets of genitals? Okay, that's not the point. That's not why I transitioned, but like, seriously, experiencing life with both sets of genitals is amazing. Experiencing orgasms driven by testosterone and also orgasms driven by estrogen is kind of amazing. And even going through puberty, I mean, I'm going through puberty again because of my hormone replacement therapy. And let's be honest, it's not such an amazing thing to be going through puberty again. But how many people get to go through puberty driven by testosterone and also puberty driven by estrogen, right? It's so incredible to live life with two very differently gendered bodies and to go through all these experiences. It's fucking incredible. All right, l'chaim. Mm. Time to make my spaghetti and meatballs. All right. I love you all. Bye.